Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 230. 'Twas the night before Zenmas, and all through the house the developers were stirring, but not a mouse. Anyway, it's recorded on December 22nd, 2022 from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt. And before we get on into the show, I do want to remind you that this show is produced by Podcaster Zen.
Are you looking into starting a podcast? Or maybe just need some help putting it all together so you could focus on your voice telling your story? Introducing Podcaster Zen. From audio podcasts to video to live streaming a show, we do it all. Head over to podcasterzen.com for more info on how we can help you share your message with the world.
There we are.
All
Hey,
right.
buddy, here we are. The last
We
show.
are.
The last show before the last show of the year.
Yep, that it is. That it
Yeah.
is.
Looking
The last
forward to it.
normal one, I guess.
Yeah, we got the Zenmys coming up next Wednesday. That's a 2-hour extravaganza usually. We're going to cover everything
Yep.
that happened in the entire world of Zoho, and then we're going to do the Zenmys, and I don't know, good times had by all. So, some mistletoe dropped in. I can't do it.
Just a little bit of mistletoe here, courtesy of Freddie. Like a little.
Nah. All right. Anyway, so what are we doing here today? We've got the show coming up, the Zenmys. Those are coming up. We're gonna basically run through this, our last show of the year. I'm getting ready for the holidays. Were you going anywhere for Christmas?
Nope, staying in town this year. We just got about 6 inches of snow, so it should be a pretty white Christmas. So we will
Very
be here. I
nice.
shoveled it all this morning, and shortly thereafter, I bought an electric snowblower. So that will be a little easier next time.
I'm going the opposite direction. It's going to be in the 77, 78 this weekend in Southern California. And then I am getting on a plane and going to Florida, where it's going to be in the 80s, and then boarding a cruise ship and doing where it's going to even be also in the 80s. So yeah, I'll think about you though, as you freeze there. That'll be good. That'll be good. All right, buddy. Well, hey, enough of this. Let's get right on into the news. Actually, announcements and events. I always do that. I always say let's get into the news, but it's actually announcements and events. As we talked about, we do have the Zenmys. They're coming up on December 28th. And you can vote for them if you go to our website, go to the events page, go to the homepage, everywhere. We're just asking you to go ahead and vote for your favorite application. And we will cover that when we do our next Wednesday, when we do the big show. And if you don't know, if you go to zenatta.com/events, basically we have every single event in the world of Zoho that we put on this events page. So not a lot coming up here in December. And really in January, because we're kind of at the end of the year here, but we do have the Zenmys that's going to finish out the year. And then Zoho's got a bunch of customer experience workshops that are coming up. They're starting in early February, and they're going to be in Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Toronto, Miami, Pleasanton, California. That's moving into April. Oh, that's the workshops. And then Zoholics is back, and Zoholics is going to be running through the U.S. It's going to be in April. It's going to be in Pleasanton, April 20th and 21st. Zoholics is also going to be in Jersey City, the 26th and 27th. And then it moves to Austin, Texas, May 3rd and 4th. If you've gone to a Zoholics in the past, this is not your grandfather's Zoholics. This is, or your father's Zoholics. These are going to be more boutique-ish. It was all in Austin, Texas. The last one they did in the United States was 2019, pre-pandemic. And it had about 4,000 people. The one for 2020 was going to have more than that. It was going to be much bigger, and of course was canceled at the last minute. These shows are going to be 300 to 400 or 500 people tops. And they're going to be rather just kind of concise 2 days events with some pretty tight schedules. So
A little less glitz and glam, a little more kind of informative sessions and trainings and things like that, I think is the goal.
Yes.
But we will miss the glitz and glam. We are being, if we're being transparent. We were hoping for quite a big event.
Yeah, we were looking for a big event. These are kind of not gonna. As a matter of fact, they've limited the ticket sales on these, so once they sell out, partners won't even be able to get tickets. So I don't think we'll be seeing you guys there unless they make a big change to these. I don't think we're
Yeah,
going to be able to
I don't
go.
think we're kind of at the bottom of the list here getting into these. So
Yeah, but should be a good event nonetheless. A little different in the past. No trade show booths. None of that. I think if we had to be honest again, I'd say that they lost their way here. They should go back to the old event. But anyway, with that, let's move on to news and events. This is pretty cool. This is the Zoho Marketplace put a list out of the 10 most installed Zoho CRM extensions of 2022. And the number one is SMS Magic, which
no
is
surprise.
what's that?
Said no surprise there. They're kind of
Yeah,
always one of the leaders in terms of SMS.
yeah. It's been around a long, long, long time. It's not our go-to. We'll get to that in a minute. Then there's the Mailchimp extension, which a lot of people they love Mailchimp. They love the interface. They love the templates. They love the deliverability. So they don't use Zoho campaigns, but they're in the Zoho world and they've got CRM, and you need to have that integration. And this is a very good integration. It's the number 2 installed. Then you've got the WhatsApp web, Shopify integration. Has that gotten better, Tyler?
Well, the one for CRM is pretty good. And again, the one for inventory is good too. It's just very particular. You have to do things in a very particular order of operations. But yeah, it does work. It drops your orders in no problem. It's one of those ones where if you configured it correctly right out of the box, then it works like a charm.
All right, and then Google Drive is coming in at
Surprise.
number 5. I haven't played with Google Drive in quite a while there, Tyler. It's we've been doing so much with WorkDrive lately.
Back in the day, I remember that plugin was a real stinker, right? The way it created your file structures were just kind of nonsensical. So maybe it's been improved since then. But yeah, for most of our clients, they end up on WorkDrive because if you're on Zoho One, it's included, and that plugin is obviously pretty great.
Yeah. And then SMS, Message Media Smooth Messenger. This is the one we normally install for our clients and work with our clients on. Although going back up here to the top, SMS Magic is number 1. That's a very good one as well. But we're kind of big fans of this SMS for Zoho CRM by Message Media. Is it still called Smooth Messenger? Who knows?
I think
Another
so, but trying to get away from that, I think.
Yeah, another WhatsApp chat, Facebook Adverts Manager. Have not played with that one. Another SMS, Cliq Send SMS, which is also good. And then this one cracks me up. This is the Kanban board coming in at number 10.
Yep.
Nothing has really changed on it. It was released back in 2016. It's kind of a cool little thing. Lets you, Zoho has native Kanban boards now in the CRM. They didn't used to, but they do now. But this allows you to kind of do some different things and set things up and filter on different things. So evidently, still popular. 3.5 stars. I would say no. But anyway, that's coming in at number 10. So that is the list of the basically the top 10 extensions for 2022. And with that, we will move on to what is new in the Zoho Marketplace. So we talk about this. If you watch this show, we're not sure these are necessarily new. Sometimes they just get
New or updated, I think, is what they might want to retitle this one too.
Yeah, so we've got ZBots for Zoho CRM, transfer data such as events and contact information to your CRM. By the way, the formatting is always broken on this page as well. This is kind of cool. Organization chart for Zoho CRM. I had not seen this, and I went and I took a look at it. If you kind of look at the screenshots, what it's doing is in your contact record, it's adding just a couple fields. What their role is, who they're reporting to, and what the relationship is. And then from that, it's able to build out an org chart.
Oh, that's cool. Can you click that second screenshot? Are you basically clicking a button and that pops it up?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in an account, you click show me that, and it kind of pops it. That's pretty cool. Imagine for people doing like account-based prospecting where you kind of need that visualization more often, could be pretty slick.
and super cheap. The thing is running, you know, $199 a year for an entire org, and if you're using it, that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
not bad, you know. So I've never. This is by Yuan Technology. So cool stuff. Hadn't heard of it, but that was one that really kind of jumped out at me. I also looked at this one,
Quiller.
Tyler.
Quiller's a nice one there too. We talked about Quiller a week or two ago. That's kind of that little microsite proposal generator. Pretty slick. Nice that it's got a pre-built integration as well.
Yeah, really, really slick. That I liked what this one I looked at. LinkedIn Pro for Zoho CRM. It's like Link Match, but twice as much. It's $20 a month.
Mhm.
So I looked at it. It could have some things that make one of the differences on it is you actually can be kind of in the CRM and in a contact in the CRM and have it go pull the most likely
Mm.
profiles for you to choose and put it in. So that's kind of cool. But I'm not sure it's worth $240 a year when you can get the other one for 120. But anyway, always a good list to check on. All the stuff that's been updated. Again, you kind of got to go and make sure, are they new? Are they not? Like Zoho payroll for people that's been there. There's a lot of every time updates get done, these kind of get added to. So cool stuff there. All right. And then moving right along. Tyler, this is new in WorkDrive templates. Now, you have templates in all of the various other applications, like Writer and Sheet has templates, and you've got Show, but those
Mhm.
aren't. Is it basically if you have those already, they're going to show up, and now
I
you can
believe
make
so. It might just
templates?
be a consolidated place for all of your templates here, kind of like the master for any of your
Okay.
document or spreadsheet templates that you're able to aggregate in here.
Actually, this isn't new at all. This is a year old. Okay. So hey guys,
Flip
templates.
back in.
You know what? It's the time machine. Let's go back in time a year and do this. I thought this is looking very familiar to me. So we probably covered
Mhm.
this 1 year ago. So I just wanted to throw that in. So there it is. Templates, guys. You think they're
In case
new,
you
but they're
forgot.
not. This would have been one of those. We could have gone down and said, wow, I already thought this was a thing. And then
Yeah.
it really already was a thing, it turns out. Okay, well, moving on with some other news. Here we go. 2 days ago,
Look at that.
there we go. We're back. Zoho Show is introducing seasonal slides. These are really cool, but probably should have been introduced a couple months ago. Not 2 days ago because the season's almost over, Zoho. But anyway, pretty cool. So you've got New Year's, Christmas, pretty neat stuff. Got some nice little seasonal slides in there.
Why not?
I like seasonal slides. By the way, kudos to Freddie. Have you noticed our seasonal look to our?
Oh
We've got
yeah.
snow, we've got
Chilly in here.
icicles. I
Yeah,
tell you,
except it's 70 where you are. It's about -5 for me, so it
that's
feels a
why I need
little more
that.
fitting. Yeah.
That's why I needed that. All right, and wrapping up a rather slow news week, Zoho Webinar is now available as a separate dedicated app. So this is a mobile app for the iOS platform. I'm sure Android as well. We talked about this last week. The webinar functionality Zoho had resided in Zoho Meeting. It still resides in Zoho Meeting, but now they have Zoho Webinar, which is
Yeah.
separate,
But they
but the
will
same.
stay in parity in features. Any features added to one for webinars will be added to both. So use that information how you would like to, but essentially it's just a carve out of the webinar functionality within Meeting that will stay exactly equivalent to whatever is already in Meeting.
Yeah.
At least that's
Zoho
our
made
understanding right now.
everybody else does. You've got your meeting software, and then they have a big upcharge for the webinar software. Zoho bundled it all
Yeah.
together in meetings, just had one. Now I don't understand the model, but we're going to have a Zoho webinar app and a meeting app. And like you say, we're going to keep that parity there. All right. And that's going to wrap up the news. So Tyler, tell us about our implementation of the week.
You got it. All righty. So yeah, this is an implementation here that we did for one of our clients around basically page splitting for PDFs. And so this was built by Ben and Lucas on our team for one of our clients. And really the core goal of this is that, our client would receive a document that, is a ton of pages, and they actually needed to work with it in kind of subsections based on some predefined like page splits. Um, there are third-party services that do this, that you can send a PDF to, and they will split it based on some ranges and then send it back. The client had some particular security concerns just because some of the information on these documents just cannot be shared. They have their own kind of like internal NDAs and kind of agreements with the people who are sending them these documents. So data security was a really big kind of concern and focus for this implementation. So we really wanted to sort out a way to do this only using existing Zoho APIs. And so, to do that, essentially what we did is, when that file gets uploaded, we trigger a deluge function that will essentially download the original PDF into that function. Then inside of the deluge code, we'll create one copy of the PDF for each of the required page splits, right? So we kind of know based on the type of the document, we want this to be, pages 1 to 5, pages 6 to 10, and then pages 11 to 12 are going to be our three groupings. So we can make 3 copies. Next, each one of those copies gets assigned essentially the page range that we want it to end up being, right? So a start and an end based on some of these parameters in our functions. And then interestingly here, Lucas kind of figured out a way to use the combine PDF API available in Zoho Writer to not combine API or combine PDFs, but essentially split them. And the reason that it works is that with that combined PDF API, you can send multiple documents to it with an array of page ranges. And you could say, like, for document 1, give me, range 1 to 5. And for document 2, give me 6 to 7, right? And it will take those subsets and combine them. But what we found is that if you just send it one document with a page range, it will actually just split out everything else and just return you only that page range of the document. And so in essence, once each of those is received back from the Writer API, we can process each of them individually based on some naming conventions and drop them into Workdrive where we need them. So pretty fun implementation. Again, kind of the big use case here is just keeping it all in-house. We've done this type of work before using third-party APIs, but you end up having to pay, right, for each of the documents that you've split. And you're adding another link in the chain in terms of like the, who has this data, who has ever touched this document, right? And so now if you're using something like Small PDF, Adobe, any of them, again, it's just another link in that custodial chain of who all has had access to a particular PDF. So really cool implementation. Great job by Ben and Lucas. Definitely one that I would see us using again in the future.
Very cool. Like you say, we've done this before using third-party tools. This is kind of a whole another way of doing it. I would say there will not be a video on this or a code share on this. A little too complicated, huh?
Yeah, a little tricky, and it's definitely one of those ones where we are using an API outside of what it would normally be used for. It's not doing anything weird, but it's just we're only sending this combined PDF API one thing, right, with the page range, and it's kind of a brute force way to do that split.
Right. Very, very cool. Nice job, Lucas and Ben. All right. And let's head over to Club Z and talk about our code share. All right, Tyler, for this, I'm going to put my Zoho hat on now. All right.
We are stacking up. Look at that.
I'm looking
I've
good
got
here,
hat
man.
envy.
Tell you what.
I don't even have one.
Did you get yours, by the way?
I do.
We got
It's
this
in
for
my thing.
attending
Doesn't fit my
Inspire
massive
event.
head.
I know.
Yeah,
Pretty
my
cool.
head is much too big.
So I love this one. We talk about Cliq all the time. We talk about how cool it is. This was actually an internal, I mean, we've done this for other people, but this came about kind of as an internal implementation we were doing. We have got inside Cliq, we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients. And every time they do anything, like they'll add a new user, they'll take away a new user, they'll buy some API credits, they'll do this, they'll do that. We were getting notified in email, and we were sending that email to desk, and we were parsing that email, and we were writing it to Cliq. Then we got access to the backend API so we can see all the stuff that's going on as it relates to our clients. And Greg started pulling that information in and started basically displaying it all for us in Cliq, kind of as this daily summary. And then he took it to the next level. And he basically put it in these beautiful message cards where he's sorting, here's upgrades, here's downgrades, and just really, really, really cleaning up the data. And this is the code he used to do that. And this is, it's just really cool stuff. I mean, depending on how you're doing, just being able to present these little beautiful graphic cards with all this little information in Cliq, to have it set up on as a recurring event or a timed event. It's really, really, really nice stuff. Anything you want to point out here?
No, I mean, I think it goes to show kind of the utility of these, right? In essence, that it's not just like you can send a raw table. You can do groupings and logic and formatting to it. And there's just a ton of use cases this way. I mean, maybe a daily text or a daily Cliq message to your sales reps. Here's the leads you haven't touched today, grouped by status. Right? There's all these different use cases where you would want to surface an organized set of data via a directly actionable message like through Cliq. So super useful. I think we've got like a handful of these now in the code shares about creating these message blurbs and tables, and highly recommend people take a look at it if it sounds useful for you.
Really, really good stuff. So thank you, Greg. We finally got it worked out this morning. Actually, we worked out the last little detail of that formatting. It's just so absolutely useful. Just really good stuff. All right. And with that, let's move on to our read of the week. All right, from over at the Zapier blog, content refreshing. How to update old content to boost your traffic. You kind of see this all the time. Sometimes this irritates me, Tyler. Sometimes it, but basically, you've got a blog post, and someone will go through and they will change this 2018 blog post to 2023, right? So continue the ranking number one on this spot because it's basically they're updating an old article. So this, if you're watching us on YouTube, the example they're giving us, if you're listening to us, is 5 best time tracking apps for 2023 Zapier. And it's the number one ranking natural SEO tracking article on that, but they've been updating it every year since 2018. So small tweaks to the article, change the date, and away you go. You see this all the time over at HubSpot. They're updating the same blog because that blog actually has already got a lot of hits. People are looking at it. It's got some good SEO. So you don't want to start all over again. It's an unfortunate thing. We look at this. You can do this with blogs. You can do that, and you should. And so this is a great article on how to do that. It's what I was going to say is unfortunate is you can't do this with YouTube videos, which are it's a real bummer because we put out here's the 2020 Zoho CRM overview, and you can't just replace that with a 2021 because they don't know what it is. They're not gonna do that. But as far as content goes on your blog posts and things like that, there's a lot you can do with it. And this is give you all of the things you need to do, backlinks and on and on. So it's a super, super nice read.
Yeah. I guess we see a lot of these big companies do this often, right? So they're doing it for a reason. When we bump into a HubSpot blog, and I know our team has been going through some of our older articles and doing this as well. Because, at the end of the day, if we wrote a blog in 2020 about CRM, it might not be the same now, right? It might be there's some new things, some new features. And so it's a good habit. You don't ever want someone finding something that gives them bad information or outdated info.
Well, we did this with we had our 14 must-have add-ons for applications for Zoho, right? And we went back and looked. It was one of our top-ranking articles of all times. We went back and looked at it. We don't even recommend 4 of them anymore. One of them doesn't exist anymore. I think we redid it as our top 9 or our top 10. Redid the date, updated it down at the bottom, said this was updated on this date. So you're maintaining your ranking on that article, and it's just good all the way around. So. If you've got good content, you should continue to leverage it. So, although I wonder how much content is going to matter in the world of Chat GPT. Well, people don't even care anymore when you can just ask it a question and get a beautiful formatted article back on that. So hard to say, but nice article over here at Zapier. And I wonder if this was updated. Anyway.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll refresh this in 2023.
All right, let's head over to Zenatta.com and see what we got going over there. In keeping with the holiday spirit, we have the 12 days of marketing. So, a nice little article, 12 tips to enhance your overall marketing strategy. Be sure to take a look at this. We've got some really, really good, you know, good ideas for you here to help you stand out with your marketing strategy for 2023. A lot of this, of course, relates to various Zoho apps that will help you get it done. So nice job to the team over there, and check out the 12 days of marketing. Next year, we can make it to 13 days of marketing and update it for, for the year. Keep that content fresh. All right. And then a big shout out to Dwell. We've one of our favorite clients. They gave us a super, super nice little case study, and we wanted to thank them for shooting this over. If you get a chance, Tyler, this has been this really cool client.
Yeah, this client we've been working with for years now, actually. Chris over here at Dwell, they do real estate down in Texas. Awesome company. Look them up if you guys are interested. But yes, we've done a whole bunch of different things here. A lot of kind of like lead management, automated SMS, deal flow, reporting, commission tracking. Kind of a big shiny one that we put together in here is the integration for Meta. If you remember our implementation a few weeks back, essentially sending that conversion data across. So working with these guys for a long time. Big shout out to Chris for doing our case study here, and we'll keep it rolling with them in the new year.
Fantastic. All right. And now, by the way, before I leave here, if you don't know, head over to Zenatta.com. You can always check out all the back episodes of the CRM Zen Show. All of our blogs are here. We've already talked about the events. You can also go ahead and access Club Zenatta. That's our online community. We've got the coach here. We've got everything over there. Super happy with the growth of these. We'll kind of talk about this next year and some of our big plans. But anyway, thanks for all of your support there. And with that, let's get on into our tip of the week. Tyler, you have been on a roll with the tips lately. So this one is integrating Zoho Cliq with Zoho CRM. So what are you talking about here?
Yeah, so here we kind of run through a couple things. First, how to actually turn on this integration inside of Cliq, or actually you turn it on inside of CRM. Super quick and easy to do that piece. And then we just ran through kind of a few of the things that you can do with this integration, right? So you can adds an action there inside of CRM workflows where you can automatically send clicks based on automated triggers. And then we also showed how the bot works over in CRM. So, using the / commands to reference CRM data easily within your conversations. Should be a pretty quick run through here, about 10 minutes. So definitely well worth taking a look at if you are using Cliq and CRM. No reason not to get
Actually,
this
this looks like it's
turned
taken
on.
from our Cliq webinar, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe an excerpt from our deeper dive webinar.
I think so. Fantastic. And as always, if you will head over to youtube.com/Zenatta, you will see all of our latest videos. Man, we've had a great year. So much content. Next year, we're going to go for like a 50% increase in the content. We're trying to get this arranged for you. We're putting together better playlists. Head on over to youtube.com/Zenatta, subscribe, and we will thank you very much, and you will get some beautiful content. All right, Tyler, with that, let's get to some questions. All right, our first question comes from Detroit Commercial Photo and Video after watching the Zoho Cliq full product tutorial, which we just talked about. This one is different, though. I recently became a Zoho mail user with one email, working great, actually getting my emails. The problem is I have a second email which I want to add on. He's been support tickets, on and on. So this question is a little confusing. So I kind of want to clarify a couple things here. So are you trying to, like, you've got a second email that is on a different domain, and you're trying to go ahead and add that to your other email? That's one thing. If so, you can do a forward on that. You can add that as its separate IMAP account, you can enable that and pull that email in that way. If you have like your domain, we'll say Detroit Commercial Photo and Video.com, and you've got another user that you're trying to add to that, that should be a no-brainer. You're basically just going to put that user in. You're going to put their username in. They should have they're going to log in, and everything should be set up, because especially if you're using Zoho Mail as your for your MX records. So if you set your MX records to Zoho Mail, there is a whole bunch of things to look at here. I don't know if have we done any videos on setting up MX records or any of that kind of stuff. I don't know if we have or
Generally
not.
we don't work
But if
too
you do
deeply with mail ourselves. Generally,
it's a simple. You know what? If you go, the thing is with Zoho Mail, you go to mail.zoho.com. That's your end user. If you go to mailadmin.zoho.com, you're going to go into that overall admin panel. And I would go in there and I would make sure that you are completely dialed in and that you've got your MX records set up straight over on your DNS server. You've added the user in there. They got their invite. All of those kind of things are handled on that back end. So take a look there, because that might be what's missing. And we'll look around. Maybe we've made a video about this in the past, and you can take a look at it there. All right. And then YS asks, after watching, what is NPS, Net Promoter Score, and how to implement it with the Zoho product suite? Great explanation. How would you recommend keeping multiple NPS survey results for the same person / contact in the CRM? And how would you track these over time? Tyler, you want to take that one?
It's a super good question, right? Because you don't want to just send someone the NPS survey one time, right? You might want to do it regularly after follow-on purchases, things like that. So what we would normally do is set up, maybe like a module in the CRM for, like, let's say survey responses, right? And have that module include a lookup into the contact record. Then basically on any trigger of a survey, sorry, Brett, you're making me laugh, man. And on trigger of any of those surveys being submitted, right, you can trigger through something like Zoho Flow or a custom function inside of surveys and just write to that survey response module. But yeah, really good question. I would say just custom module. You don't want to go down the road of like NPS score 1, NPS score 2, NPS score 3 on the customer record. Just by creating a module, you can track that list over time.
Fantastic. Yeah, we kind of talked about this later on. It's a nice little, it's better to write them there so you can keep tracking it over time that way. And I was cracking, Tyler. I was playing with my antlers. I'm wearing a hat if you're watching us on. If you're listening to us, I got a little Christmas hat with antlers on it. Anyway, we got a question after watching Getting Started with Zoho Creator Part 3, Creating Custom Reports. Sir, I have created a custom button edit. My condition is a customer can edit the report only through the button. What Deluge script can be written to open my edit page for each record in my creator report?
Got it. So, I mean, it kind of depends. If you want them to be able to edit the report itself, that gets a little trickier because it gets into some of the configuration options. If you were looking to essentially have, let's say, each row in the report has like an edit button, then that's a little bit more in line with what we actually do in our creator instance. So you can have a button, and that button will essentially, and I don't know, Josh, if you're in chat here, if you can tell me I'm wrong, but you should be able to have a button, right? And the button can invoke a pop-up of a different form. So you might need, like, let's say each row is an order or something like that, right? You might need a different form in Creator for like an order edit, essentially, right? And so you can press that button. That will pop up a little edit form. They fill in the data there. On submission, you can run a Deluge script that would then write those edits back to that row. That's essentially what we do in our system with like tasks and task updates, and that like you click an update button and a separate form can pop up. So I would think some type of path there where you have an edit form and then you're using that button to essentially open URL, the proper edit form for that order.
Fantastic. All right, and moving on, Mossy Digital, after watching Zoho Campaigns full product tutorial, I want to build an ebook campaign and email the lead the ebook with a follow-on drip. It doesn't look like I can add an attachment to the workflow email. Am I missing something? Alternatively, is there a way to include a download link? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so a couple of things here. You cannot include an attachment to a template inside of Zoho campaigns, but you can include that attachment to a template inside of CRM. So if you were to, once they filled the form out, you're writing that to CRM, you tick a box, you could actually have the CRM automatically go ahead and send them out that email with the attachment, and the ebook could be there as well. But you really want to send attachments around, and so
Yeah.
probably just putting in a download link is just one of the easiest ways you could do that. You could do that in either
Yeah.
one of them. You could put a link that would allow them to download that ebook.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider, like you're saying, Brett, like a link that drops them into a page on your website where they can download it, or a page where it's embedded, right? And maybe it has a download option. Just because as a general practice, like one of the reasons campaigns doesn't let you include attachments is that attachments on marketing emails make that email much more likely to go into spam. And so generally what we've seen when people are doing kind of like ebook or white paper based campaigning is that you want to be pointing people back to your website where they would actually trigger the download. One, because it's increasing traffic to your site, good for SEO, right? Good for your general like page rankings. And two, it just keeps your emails, lightweight, right? So that they're not carrying through a bunch of attachments that are more likely to end up in spam.
Yeah, and honestly, if I was doing this, you're running a campaign for the ebook, they click the link, takes them to a page on your website, they fill out a Zoho form, you write that data back, and once they hit submit on the form, it just takes them to a page, like Tyler was saying, on your website where they can download it, right? Or it starts the download. There's a whole bunch of things you can do with that. You can redirect it directly to a PDF link, and they could just download it from there. So a lot of ways of going around that don't involve attachments. So, all right. And then we have a question after watching the full Zoho CRM full product overview 2022. I think it's Pachetti asks, what is the main usage of the Canvas tool? Before 2021, we have not used Canvas tool in Zoho CRM. Pachetti, it basically is just to allow you to customize the look and feel of all of the modules inside the CRM. So you basically can drag and drop and rearrange things and basically make them look any way you'd like them to look within reason, within the availability of those tools. The tool has come a long way. It actually was rolled out at the very last in-person Zoholics in 2019. It was released later that year or beginning of 2020. It does have a few issues around scaling. So that's kind of one of the things to be very cognizant of when you're building out these tools is that, if you're doing it on, you've got your monitor resolution at X and someone else is at Y, it might not look so good, especially if you're going from a larger resolution to a smaller. It can crunch everything up. But you can there are changes and ways you can do with formatting. They do have a ton of templates now that kind of help you get started. And you can look at those as well. But if
And
you
it's
are
getting better and
unhappy,
better. Some of those issues with responsiveness, they know and they're working on them, right? So
yeah,
it's on its way up. But yeah, the main goal is that UI update in essence.
yeah. Personally, we don't do much with it. Most of our time and effort would be spent on cleaning up basically the various modules, cleaning up the records, organizing everything properly. It's faster, it's cleaner. Editing, it's just it's that the whole Canvas thing's got a little ways to go, but it is getting better. All right. And Matt asked after watching our CRM Zen Show, 7 episodes ago, I guess, I need 2 cc's of JWT on this ASAP stat. I'm so glad you quoted this episode. I wanted to say that again. The implementation of the week, you talk about how it is useful and use cases, which is great, but how do I do it? And the implementation was CRM attachments, automated migration to WorkDrive. Matt, thanks so much for watching the show, but this is not one we're going to give away. There's just a whole
Yeah,
lot
this
of work
one, I
behind
mean,
this.
like structurally, what you need is a scheduled function that's running deluge. You need to have like a work drive folder structure already created where the work drive folders are linked to the accounts or deals or wherever you want things to go. But this one is probably not going to make its way over to a code share as it's a bit of a behemoth to implement. And it does depend on exactly what types of files you're working with, where you want them to go, where they're stored now. So yeah, this is one that while we do provide it as a service, I don't know that it will make its way to our code share page.
All right. Neo Flooring, after watching how to migrate from QuickBooks to Zoho Books, says, what are the automation tools to convert files? Really aren't any going to help you with that. Files are the bane of any migration, whether it's books or CRM or anything that you're doing. They're just difficult. So it's a manual process on the end, or you can do an export usually and get them out and kind of go from there. All right. And Eric had a video tutorial request for us. Is there a step-by-step tutorial on how all of the calendars in Zoho interact and the best way to make sure items appear on all of them without entering the same info multiple times? The calendars I'm referring to are Mail, Cliq, CRM, Bookings, Meetings, and Calendar. If there's more, I haven't found those yet. Okay, Mail and Calendar, that's the same calendar. Cliq has a calendar, Tyler? I'm not familiar with that. I know Connect has a calendar.
I don't know if I've ever looked at the calendar in Cliq, to be totally
Is there
honest with
one?
you.
I know there's
Yeah,
one in Connect.
maybe. Yeah, I mean, CRM can sync with Zoho Mail pretty easily through a plugin. Bookings allegedly syncs with Mail and CRM, but it's pretty buggy. So, use
Yeah, I mean,
at
you're
your own
basically
risk.
going to have to share all of these calendars to a calendar and give yourself permissions. Zoho has tried to solve this for tasks, and they came out with the Tasks app, and basically it's just pulls them all into one view. They probably could do this with all their various calendars as well. They haven't done that yet. I suggest you stay with one calendar, period, and just do that. So if it's Zoho Calendar, it's Zoho Calendar. That's also the one that's in Mail. That one does talk to Bookings, so you should be good there. Meetings is just going to look to the regular calendar, so I think you'd be fine. All right, MedMiser ask, does the user retain ownership or control of what they create in Canvas if they stop using Canvas?
Well, I mean, there's no way to export it if that's what you're asking. So you obviously, let's say you build it in CRM, you decide you want to stop using it. You can deactivate Canvas and not delete it, and then you would keep it in your system. But if you were to leave Zoho, there's no method for you to export any of that HTML or design out of the Canvas view. Hopefully that's answering your question, right, Mark? If not, just maybe drop another in real quick if you're still here. But so you can disable it and it's going to keep it there. But yeah, there's no way to really walk from Zoho with the design that you've put together.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, once you build it, that's it. So I'm glad to hear that, Mark. Mark's saying that one of their marketing people is using Canvas right now and they like it. It works very well. Again, though, if you're building it for yourself in your own environment at your own resolution, it's always going to look great, right? That's the cool thing about it. I like it. I just was a little fast. They're making a lot of changes to it right now, so good stuff. All right, guys. With that, no, Tyler, I'm not going to give you a kiss again. Freddie's baiting us. Sorry, we did it once. It was cringeworthy enough as it was. We have an ugly sweater contest to get to.
Someone in the chat said that it was comfortable and that we just need to find our inner European. So maybe I agree with that.
So Santa, I know him. This is Will Ferrell. It's Elf there. I wore this last year. I did not win our ugly sweater contest. I'm hoping this will be.
Thinking my blinking lights should help me out. One of these is green, so it's canceled out by the green screen. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's my battery went dead. I don't know. It's probably going to be. I'm going to have points deducted for a dead battery. All right, we're going to get to the company Christmas party. With that, I want everybody to have a fantastic Christmas and holiday. Do not miss us next week for our annual year in review and Zenmys. And if you want to get a hold of us, please head over to Zenatta.com and click on book a meeting, and head over to club.zenatta.com and participate in our community.
And on the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. We'd love if you would follow us on your favorite social media platform and subscribe to us here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Wednesday for the Zenmy show. Hope you can join us.
Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas.